There is a verse in the book of Proverbs that describes wine as something that gladdens the heart of man. It was written more than 2,000 years ago. Today, science has discovered exactly why that statement had a real physiological basis, not only in the heart, but throughout the entire circulatory system. There are 5 beverages repeatedly mentioned in the Bible that modern studies have directly linked to blood flow, hormone balance, and sexual desire after the age of 60. The last one on the list is the one that has surprised researchers the most. After 60, your sex life doesn't disappear, it changes. Blood vessels become less flexible. The production of certain hormones gradually declines, and circulation to specific parts of the body depends more on the health of your arteries than on your age itself. It's a subject that almost no one talks about openly, yet the body continues to operate according to the same laws of chemistry. Today, you'll discover what science has found about 5 ancient beverages, why they are still relevant today, and how to incorporate them into your routine in a simple and mindful way. Let's begin with the most frequently mentioned of them all: red wine. It appears dozens of times throughout the Bible, at weddings, meals, and celebrations. But what matters here isn't tradition, it's chemistry. The grapes used to make red wine contain a compound called resveratrol, found primarily in the grape skins. It ends up in the wine because the skins remain in contact with the juice during fermentation. That's why white wine, which is produced without prolonged skin contact, contains much lower amounts of this compound. Resveratrol is no ordinary nutrient. It belongs to a group of plant compounds produced as a natural defense mechanism, and inside the human body, it acts directly on the walls of blood vessels. That is the connection between a beverage consumed for thousands of years and one of the most extensively studied topics in modern vascular medicine: how to keep arteries healthy and youthful. Resveratrol stimulates the production of nitric oxide within the walls of the arteries. Nitric oxide is a tiny but powerful molecule that signals blood vessels to relax and widen. Wider blood vessels mean increased blood flow throughout the body, including to the areas responsible for sexual function, which depend directly on healthy circulation. After the age of 60, the body's natural production of nitric oxide declines. This is one reason blood pressure tends to rise and peripheral circulation becomes less efficient with age. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed adults who regularly consumed moderate amounts of red wine and found measurable improvements in blood vessel function, particularly among the older participants. In practical terms, this means a circulatory system that responds more effectively, something that influences far more than blood pressure alone. And here's something most people don't know. Wine isn't the only biblical beverage that supports circulation in this way. In fact, the second drink on the list may be even more effective. Pomegranate juice appears in the Song of Songs, where it is associated with beauty and desire. Pomegranates contain high concentrations of compounds known as punicalagins. With the help of beneficial gut bacteria, the body converts these compounds into substances that also stimulate nitric oxide production through the same pathway as resveratrol, but with different potency. A study published in the International Journal of Impotence Research followed older men with age-related circulatory difficulties and found significant improvements after they consumed pomegranate juice daily for several weeks. According to the researchers, the explanation was straightforward: increased blood flow reaching the right tissues at the right time. The third beverage is actually a classic biblical combination: milk and honey. The famous land flowing with milk and honey. Honey contains boron, a little-known mineral that studies have linked to the regulation of testosterone levels. Testosterone is a hormone that directly influences sexual desire in both men and women and naturally declines with age. Milk, on the other hand, provides high-quality protein and zinc. Zinc is essential for the body's own production of testosterone, Individually, milk and honey may seem simple. Together, they provide exactly the combination of protein and minerals the body needs to help maintain healthy hormonal function after the age of 60. The fourth beverage is date water, prepared by soaking dates in water and drinking the naturally sweet infusion. Dates are mentioned dozens of times in the Bible, often symbolizing strength and vitality. And that strength isn't merely symbolic. Dates contain one of the highest concentrations of amino acids among fruits, including several that participate directly in nitric oxide production, the same biological mechanism supported by red wine and pomegranate, but through a different pathway. Interestingly, animal studies have shown increased sperm count and improved sperm motility following regular consumption of date extract. Researchers attribute these effects to the fruit's amino acids and powerful antioxidants. The fifth and final beverage is the most surprising of all: barley water. Barley is one of humanity's oldest cultivated grains and was a staple food in biblical times. It contains meaningful amounts of zinc, and zinc doesn't just support testosterone production, it is also essential for maintaining the endothelium, the inner lining of blood vessels that produces nitric oxide. Without sufficient zinc, this lining cannot function optimally, regardless of how much resveratrol or punicalagins you consume. It is the foundation that supports everything discussed so far, and, ironically, it is also the most overlooked beverage on this list. What connects these 5 beverages isn't coincidence or tradition. It's a single biological mechanism repeated in 5 different ways: increased nitric oxide production, healthier blood vessels, and improved blood flow to the areas where the body needs it most. In practical terms, that could mean enjoying a glass of red wine or a serving of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice a few times a week, drinking a cup of warm milk with a spoonful of honey in the evening, or choosing date water or barley water as alcohol-free alternatives, especially if you don't drink wine. None of these beverages replaces the others. Each contributes a different piece of the same physiological puzzle. If you take blood-thinning medications such as warfarin, talk to your doctor before increasing your intake of pomegranate juice, as it may enhance the medication's effects. If you have diabetes or prediabetes, be mindful of the natural sugars found in honey, dates, and even pomegranate juice, and consume them in moderation. And if you avoid alcohol for health, personal, or religious reasons, pomegranate juice and date water may offer similar benefits without the risks associated with alcohol. This content is intended for educational purposes only. Your healthcare provider understands your individual medical needs. In the end, what these 5 beverages have in common isn't faith, it's physiology. They help support healthier blood vessels and provide the body with what it needs to continue functioning well at any age. Ancient texts describe these effects thousands of years before anyone understood the chemistry behind them, yet they pointed in a remarkably accurate direction. Every day, your body responds to what you put into it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video.